Have you been wanting to make money by selling products online but feel unsure of where to start? Etsy is an amazing platform to sell on, but I get it. Starting from square one can be a lot. That's why in this video, I'm breaking down how to sell on Etsy successfully into 3 easy to follow steps. You can consider this your Etsy shop for beginners tutorial, if you will. I'm going to share with you exactly what worked for me to grow a top 1% Etsy shop so that you can do it too. And make sure you watch till the end because I'm sharing a little secret that I've been keeping. I definitely think it's something you're going to want to hear. All right, let's jump in. All right, step number 1 here is to conceptualize your product. We're coming up with the idea for what our ideal product would be that we would sell on Etsy, but before we can even think about that, we have to know what we actually can and can't sell on Etsy because Etsy only allows certain categories of products. So on Etsy, you can sell number 1, handmade, which means that you're either the maker or the designer of the product. Number 2, digital products. Number 3, print on demand products. Number 4, vintage products, which is technically any item that's 20 years old or older. And you can also sell craft supplies as long as it's something that's intended to be used to create another finished item. One thing you definitely can't do on Etsy is to just source already made goods from another manufacturer and just resell without changing or doing anything to it to make it your own. The only exception to that is in the craft supply category, you are allowed to just resell craft supplies, but everything else has to either be handmade, digital, print on demand, or vintage. Now you might ask about services. Can you actually sell a service on Etsy? And most of the time the answer is no, with one exception here. The only service that you are allowed to sell on Etsy is something that results in a physical, tangible product. So if it's something that you're selling that is a service that you're providing, but the end result involves something like a downloadable PDF or some kind of physical, tangible item, then you can sell that service on Etsy. But all other services, if it doesn't result in that, are not allowed to be sold on Etsy. Okay, so now that we know what we can sell, let's talk about what your ideal product might be. Maybe you already know what you want to offer, but if you don't, my rule of thumb is to think about the product that you're interested in that best meets 3 different specific criteria, and these 3 are proficiency, passion, and profitability. So when we're talking about proficiency, I'm talking about your skills. What do you know how to do? What do others ask you how to do? Is there something that you already have skills or know-how in or could easily learn pretty quickly? Passion is talking about your interest, right? You don't want to create and sell something that you're going to get tired of super quickly. You want to be interested and passionate about it. So what's an idea that lights you up inside? What's an idea that gives you that spark of inspiration? And then profitability is talking about, is there market demand for it? It has to be something that you love, but it also has to be something that's in demand because it does no good to create something that you love if no one's out there searching for it, wanting to buy it. So there has to be profitability, there has to be market demand, and you'll know if there is or isn't market demand by doing some market research, which we'll talk more about in just a minute. So if you're trying to narrow down your list of potential products that you could sell, think about which one best fits all 3 of those categories of passion, profitability, and proficiency. Now, when we're talking about market demand specifically and doing some market research, you want to look at both small and big companies that are already out there to see what's already out there in the market. Within the specific niche or category type that you're thinking of, what companies are out there, what sellers are already providing this, and do some competitor and product analysis. You want to look to see, is there anything currently trending in this niche? Are certain styles really popular right now? Do I see any certain trend elements like specific patterns or color schemes or font types repeated over and over again in the best sellers within this niche? What kind of price points am I seeing out there? Are these competitors offering free shipping? There's so much that you can learn when you're studying your competitors and those who are already in the niche doing it well. And then beyond that, you want to ask yourself, what could I do a little bit differently to add a unique selling point so that mine stands out compared to what's already on the market? This can also be called a value proposition. What value am I bringing to the table that could set this product and listing apart, make it stand out, and make it even that much more appealing and more of an irresistible offer for my target customer? So it's totally okay to get ideas and inspiration from what's already out there, and actually seeing others doing well in this niche and other competitors out there actually is a really good thing because that proves that there is demand. No one would be selling it if there weren't people searching for it and looking for it, right? So it's actually a good sign when you see other people selling the same item, but you want to think to yourself, what can I do to level this up, put my own unique spin and twist on it, and give it that unique selling point that's going to make it better than all the rest? All right, we're about to move on to step number 2 here, but before we do, I want to let you know I have a free gift for you that I think is going to be super valuable, super helpful for you in your business journey, and that is my free Etsy Quick Start Guide. It's a whole comprehensive guide that's going to give you all of the different steps that you need to take to get started with your profitable Etsy shop. So if you feel like you don't really know where to start, what you need to do to get going, then definitely click that link in the description box below to grab that free guide. You can download it right after you watch this video, and that's just going to walk you through step by step to make sure that you're covering all your bases and getting everything done that you need to, remembering everything that needs to be set up, and giving you some extra pro tips in the process to really make sure that your Etsy shop takes off from day one. All right, moving on to step number 2 here, and this is to create and list your product. So once you've decided on your idea, you've done the market research, you know it's in demand, you know this is a great product idea, the next step is to actually create it and get it listed for sale. So a couple things you need to think through here when you're getting ready to start actually creating your product is number 1, if it's a physical product, what kind of materials and supplies do you need? Where are you going to source those from? In general, I'd say it's much better to source those types of materials from a wholesaler rather than a retailer. So instead of going to a craft store, let's say like Michael's, to buy floral stems or ribbon, you can find those for really discounted rates when you order them from an actual wholesale company. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes to find actual wholesale companies because there are businesses online that sort of disguise themselves as wholesalers when they're not true wholesalers. But one way I like to find true wholesale companies is to find trade show websites like the Atlanta Mart and look at their exhibitor list. Only true wholesale companies can exhibit at these types of large trade shows, so you can know that that whole list of exhibitors is going to be companies that actually do sell truly wholesale. If you can find what you need with a wholesaler, you're going to get a lot more for a hugely discounted rate. Now, if you're selling digital products or print-on-demand products, maybe you're more of the designer of the product than the actual physical maker of the product. You might need to think about what software or online tools you need to design your creations. Think through anything else that you might need, including packaging and shipping materials if you're going to be handling the shipping yourself. Maybe you want to have some physical add-ins for marketing purposes printed out. You can think through all of those different materials that you might need ahead of time, and then go ahead and create your product. A tip here when you're first starting out your Etsy shop is when you open it up to the public, you don't want there only to be 1 or 2 listings on your shop. That feels really empty. You want it to feel at least somewhat established and full on that first shop page. So my minimum would be about 12 different listings that you could start with. So go ahead and think to yourself, I'm going to get 10 to 12 listings created and ready to go before I ever even launch this to the public. Now, when I say launch to the public, I'm meaning in your own marketing where you're telling other people about your shop. Obviously, when you open your shop and you start adding listings, technically they are visible to the public already, but it's not likely that the Etsy algorithm is going to show you high in the search results until you start getting some momentum in your shop on your own, which we'll talk about in the next step. So one huge part of having a successful listing when you start actually getting these listings created is having quality images. These can be actual photographs that you take yourself or you hire a professional photographer to take. Or if you're selling something like a digital product, it could be a mock-up image. A mock-up image is basically just a photograph of a blank product that's ready to go for you to add your design to give the buyer an idea of what this actual physical, tangible item would look like when you don't actually have it in hand to take a photo of. You can purchase these types of mock-ups on a lot of different websites like Creative Market, Creative Fabrica, and you can even find them on Etsy itself. You just want to make sure if you're using mock-ups that you're using mock-up images that accurately describe and present what your product actually is. And once we have our photos and our images ready to go, we're ready to actually build out our listing. All right, so when we're entering information to create our listing, there's all of these different fields that we'll have to go through, which all of them are important, but some of the most important are the ones that have to do with SEO, which is search engine optimization. This is the way that the algorithm is going to identify what our listing is all about so it can show it to the right shoppers and start to rank it higher in the search. So there are 5 key areas that you need to pay attention to when you're creating your listing, including the title, the description, the category, the attributes, and the tags section. Those 5 sections are where the Etsy algorithm actually pulls keyword phrases from for SEO purposes to tell what your listing is all about. So the smart strategy here is to plug in highly searched keyword phrases that you know a lot of people are on Etsy searching for into those 5 sections. So you could just guess at this, but a much better way is to do some SEO research. You can look on Etsy itself, but if you're wanting to level up and use an actual research tool, one that I love is Sales Samurai. So here on Sales Samurai, we've got the keyword research tool, and I can type in a keyword that I'm thinking of to get data on it. So let's say I'm wanting to sell baby blankets. I could go ahead and just type in the phrase baby blanket, and then Sales Samurai is going to generate all of this different information for that search term. So I can see here the estimated number of times per month the term baby blanket is searched on Etsy by shoppers, and that's over 122,000. So that's a lot of searches per month, which is good search volume. I can also see here the CTR, which is the click-through rate. So this is the percentage of times people are viewing listings that are using this term that actually click through on it. And I can see how much competition there is on Etsy for people using that keyword phrase in their listings. I can also see Google information, as well as under this Etsy most trending section, some different related phrases that are trending on Etsy and their search volumes. Another really helpful area here is if we scroll down, we can see here tags, which are related phrases that these listings are using in their tag section. So I'm getting ideas of things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of before to describe this. So even though I was looking up baby blanket, I could also describe this as a baby shower gift, personalized blanket, maybe if I offer customization, baby gift, crochet baby blanket. So this is giving me ideas for my tag section. I can also actually see different listings on Etsy that are ranking for this phrase and click through and see what they're using as their title and in their tag section and see all the information on these. So ideally here, I want to do some of this research to figure out what keyword phrases are the most highly searched, ideally with less competition if possible, to plug into my listing. Then once I've identified those, I'm going to start down here with the tag section and just start inputting different tags. I can do up to 13 with these keywords that describe my product. So I might start with baby blanket. I might do baby shower gift, crochet blanket, baby swaddle, and I can continue entering different keyword phrases here in the tag section. And then I want to come up to the title and enter different phrases in the title that match as closely as possible to what I put in my tag section. I can add in some descriptive words here also to make the keywords a little more niche specific. So I might say something like personalized baby blanket. And then I want to make sure I'm using either commas or lines in between each one to make it more readable. So then I could put in my separator there and then type in the next keyword phrase, baby shower gift, and so on. I would continue doing this to enter as many characters as I can. There is a character limit here on the title of 140, but I'm going to enter as many of these keyword phrases as I can to help the algorithm identify this listing correctly. Then coming down here to the description section, this is where I can actually write out paragraphs if I want of describing what this product is. So I don't want to just put a list of my keywords that's called keyword stuffing and that's no good, but I want to be able to weave these in organically as I'm typing. So I might say something in the beginning to be sort of like a hook, like this gorgeous personalized baby blanket is sure to make the best baby shower gift. And then I would continue writing and describing the product, giving all the needed information here, but organically weaving in these keywords. So you can see I have personalized baby blanket up here in the title. I have it again exactly the same way down here in the description. I've also got baby shower gift right here. So I'm just fitting these in as I'm describing the product. Now, the other two fields that I mentioned that are really important for SEO are the category and attributes field. So here the category isn't something where I can just input anything I want. There's certain categories that Etsy will suggest for me. So if I type in baby blanket, we can see here it's under home and living, and it gives all the different categories that lead up to baby blanket. So I'm going to choose that. That's the most correct category. And then once I choose the category, I'll see here under attributes, different attributes of the product that it's suggesting for me to choose. So material, primary color, secondary color, bed size. So these are going to change depending on what type of product you have chosen in your category. But the more I can fill out with this, the better, because these serve as additional ways for the algorithm to identify my listing correctly and show it to people who are searching. So for instance, if I choose cotton as one of my materials and someone types in cotton baby blanket, this listing is going to be considered more relevant in the search than a listing that doesn't have cotton in it. Now, these are all optional. I don't have to fill out all of these, but it's best to fill out as many as are actually relevant and could possibly help my listing. So overall, when it comes to optimizing my listing for SEO purposes, I love using Sales Samurai as a research tool. I think you might love it too. So I have a link below for a free 3-day trial if you'd like to just try it out, see if it might be a good fit for your business. And you can enter the code KATE20 when you're signing up so that if you do decide to use it beyond that free 3 days, you'll get 20% off of your monthly subscription. And I want to thank Sales Samurai so much for sponsoring this portion of today's video. And one other pro tip here is that you want to make sure within your shop settings that you have your about section and and your policies thoroughly filled out. Even just having these 2 sections completed gives you an automatic boost in the search results. So those are 2 different sections that are super easy to fill out. Get those completed, and that'll automatically help you to rank higher. Okay, so now we've gotten our product conceptualized. We've actually created the product and gotten the listing ready, published it, and now it's time for step 3, which is to market your shop. Now, out of all the important steps, this seems to be the one that most people skip and don't take really seriously and maybe don't think is super necessary, but I'm here to tell you, marketing absolutely is crucial for success on Etsy to get some traction and momentum going. A lot of people hop on Etsy and get their listings published and just think that they can kind of sit back, relax, and let the algorithm do its thing to start showing their listings to shoppers. But unfortunately, that's not quite how it works most of the time. With the way the Etsy algorithm works and chooses specific listings to rank higher, it's likely not going to notice or pick up your listing to start increasing it in the rankings unless it sees some momentum and sales on that listing first. So the ball's really in your court to start to get things going with your shop by driving your own traffic and driving those first few sales yourself. Do we want to be found organically by just random Etsy shoppers? Eventually, of course we do, but here in the beginning, it's really important to drive as much of your own traffic, even if it's just from family and friends, as you can to get the ball rolling, to get the algorithm to take notice. Hey, this listing's got some sales going on it. People are interested. They're looking at it. They're viewing it. They're purchasing it. Let's rank it higher and push it out to more people organically and see how it does there. So you really can't just set it and forget it here. You have to be super intentional with your marketing plan and strategy. Now, thankfully, there are so many different forms of digital marketing that you can use, and you don't have to do everything. I would say pick a few things that you want to focus on to really get good at in the beginning to get the word out about your shop. And personally, my top 3 favorite forms of digital marketing that have worked for me and for so many of my students are a combination of email marketing, social media content marketing, and relationship marketing, which is doing collaborations with other sellers and influencers. Honestly, when you have each of these 3 pieces going in your business, they can all work together as a cohesive system where your social media content is bringing in new eyes, pointing people over to your email list, which is where you're constantly nurturing and communicating with your ideal customers. And then your email list is where you can sell, drive people to your shop. And you can also find other people to do collaborations with on different social media platforms or even through their email list, so that you're not having to start from scratch, but you're able to tap into someone else's already built audience to gain quick visibility. Now, here's the little secret I alluded to earlier, and that is that I just opened the doors to my brand new monthly coaching group, Reach. So I'm bringing it up here because Reach is all about leveling up your marketing to take your business from hidden and buried to discovered and found. And the way that we do this is by really honing in on our digital marketing. So everything we teach within Reach revolves around this 3-step system, including email marketing, content marketing, and relationship marketing. And we teach you everything you need to know to get that system working for you to get your business seen. Inside the group, we have weekly live trainings, Q&A sessions, guest expert interviews, as well as our complete course, the Simplified Marketing Blueprint that you can access at any time, go back and reference, go through and learn the actual strategy behind each of these different pillars, as well as member connect calls. There's so many different fun things that are going on within that group. So if you're interested, I would love for you to check it out. We just opened the doors. And if you're watching at the time this video is released, the doors are open until June 27th at midnight. That's when we're closing up the doors. If you hop in before then, you can get in at the low founding member rate that we're offering. It's never going to be this low again. This is literally a super discounted low rate because it's our first launch of this group. So if you might be interested in learning this system to get your business out into the world, to get the right eyeballs on it, to drive traffic to your shop, then click the link in the description box below to check it out. And you can even chat with our support team there live on that page if you have any questions about it. And if you're watching after June 27th and the doors are closed, then you can hop on the wait list with the link below to be the first to know when we open up the doors again. So friend, I hope this was helpful for you. Don't forget also links are below for that free Etsy success guide and to try out Sales Samurai. Happy selling, friends.